Hello, this is a review video on my Jetboil Zip cooking system, and I have already made a technical video about this cooking set, and the main purpose of this video is to tell is this a sensible thing to do to get this kind of system. Now, depends on what kind of cooking system you already have. The answer is either yes or no. Let's say if you don't have any kind of cooking system, then getting the Jetboil might be a good deal. There would be better deals than this would be still a good deal. If you have let's say those old traditional Trangias that are really heavy and bulky, then this would be a good deal to get, but there would be better deals. Now, let's say if you have something like my old system, that a basic burner and a basic pot, doesn't really make any sense to waste money on this setup. Not really. In that case, this would be a really bad deal, because this has really nothing going for it compared to my old setup or similar setups. Now, my old setup was built around this burner made by Primus. It's called Express Stove. It is really compact and lightweight. It came with a little pouch, and it has a piezo lighting, so you don't have to carry lighters or matches or anything like that. Really handy. Cost something like maybe 50 euros and weighs something like 95 grams, so very compact and lightweight. This has a volume of 8 deciliters, just like this, and this weighs 180 grams. But then again, with this you have this nice frying pan with Teflon coating, and of course this comes with a little handle. So this costs something like 25 euros probably. So this kind of setup in this identical configuration is something like 75 euros. And of course, if you want to save money, you can get cheaper burners quite easily, and you can get more compact and more lightweight burners for the less money than 50 euros. Now, this weighs 358 grams, so it's something like 80 grams heavier than this setup, because the overall weight of this setup is 275 grams, so it's not lightweight. What comes to the volume, now I can have my old setup in this kind of configuration. I have just a strap around it or a rubber band, put this in my backpack, and it's quite lightweight and compact, and I can just stuff this somewhere in my pocket quite easily. So dimensions of this kind of setup is 9 centimeters times 14 centimeters, whereas this is 15 centimeters times 11 centimeters. So the volume of the setup is probably, I would say, quite identical. Now, this is quite effective burner. The output power of this is something like 1.6 kilowatts, and this burner has the output power of 1.3 or 1.4 kilowatts. So, what is amazing about this system, that when they claim that it's well energy friendly, or using less energy to do the same stuff, that is actually true. So I made a test where I boiled 6 deciliters of water. The beginning temperature was something like 6 degrees, and both of these had the water boiling in almost basically identical times. It took something like 4 minutes, no, actually 2 minutes and 45 seconds or something like that. So it was relatively fast, but still they were equally fast. So this is not any faster than this kind of setup. So of course it uses less energy. So if that is important to you, well, then it is, and then it is a good point if you want to get this kind of setup. Now, what comes to the claim that this saves energy, now the price difference between these two containers is something like 2 euros. So does it make any sense to get a new setup for 100 euros so you can save 2 euros per probably 1 week trip? I don't really think so. So let's say that this would be enough gas for 1 week trip, and well, I can actually make a pretty strong claim that if you have a full container of 230 grams, it's enough for 10 days of hiking. Well, at least it was for me, so there's no really any reason, in my opinion, to get this kind of setup, even if it would save energy. Now, of course, you would claim that, yeah, but you have this 100 grams container and this is really heavy. Yeah, but the overall weight with this gas container in this setup is, well, it's pretty much the same. There's only like a couple of maybe 30 or 40 grams difference. Of course, in that case, this would be heavier, but 30 or 40 grams here or there. So if you are that weak that you cannot carry extra 40 grams, well, then that's your problem. I would not really see that a very good reason to get this kind of setup. And what if you have only 1 week or shorter trip, you have a weekend trip, couple of days? What if you would have this kind of setup? Now, this would be easily that 90 or 100 grams lighter than this setup. It would be actually something like the 80 grams of difference. It would be 80 grams. So, and this would be 80 grams lighter than this setup. So in that case, even in that case, this would be quite nonsensical. Of course, this comes with a handle, insulation, sock around the cup. Of course, that is nice. You don't burn accidentally your hands, and also if you have this setup like this, you can move this around when you are boiling your water and making your food or whatever. If that is important to you, well, then that is a good point to get this. That was actually the original reason why I wanted this system, to have it that I can easily move it around when it's running. Now, I'm not that sure that I really appreciate that feature that much that I could recommend this for anyone. There's a couple of reasons. This doesn't have a piezo lighting, it really should have, and these kind of setups usually do. So you have to either carry a flint or steel or matches and lighter. And if you have this already set up like this, you turn on the gas, you cannot really light this with the piezo. You have to use matches, and basically you have to light it in this kind of setup, and then you have to fiddle it around. There are similar burners that have a piezo lighting that would have made this much better system. Also, like you can see, there's a really good accessibility to this adjusting knob here. Even with heavy leather mittens, I can easily access this screw. Now, this has these nice, I believe these are plastic, these plastic arcs here. So if you have heavy mittens, it's a little bit tricky to access here. Now, even currently I'm not wearing any gloves, and it's still a little bit tricky. My finger is basically just on the edge there, that it fits there. So there is accessibility issues, and this is also top heavy, as this is only 11 centimeters wide. And so I have actually managed to tip this over twice, even it has the tripod put on soft snow. As it is top heavy, you have to be really careful that you don't accidentally push it. or tip it over. Of course, I'm clumsy person, so that might be my fault, but with this kind of container as a base, this is quite steady, so I haven't really had that problem with this. So of course that's my personal preference. Of course, if you are wondering, does this actually insulate your water, so does your water stay more warmer when you're having this insulation cozy? Well, not really. I made a test where I had 90 degrees in Celsius water, and after 10 minutes the water in this one was 73 degrees, but in this very basic setup the water was in 71 degrees, so there was 2 degrees difference, not that much actually to justify getting this. There's also the fact that with this setup, without getting the accessory for the support for other containers than this, you cannot really have any other pot than this one. And of course, if you are hiking in a group or you want to do something special, that's not a good deal. Of course, the accessory costs something like 15 euros to get the support for other, but still it is extra money. I would much rather have my Trangia frying pan if I, let's say, want to make eggs or fry little fishes. Now of course you have this protective cup that goes around this flux ring. Well, it is plastic. If you are drinking hot water or hot coffee from this, it's not good for that. This is just for measuring water. I would not consider this as any kind of extra container. So I don't really see any point to get this if you already have a burning or a cooking set. So I hope this wasn't too negative, but this is my opinion. What do I think about the setup? So that's about it.